Hello humans, hello humans. Saturday, December 6th, 7:59 a.m. Reasonably early. Trying to get this done before the next band of the storm rolls through here. It was quite the energetic night. It was a big windstorm, went on for hours. Quite disturbing. Even woke the dogs up and they were a little anxious. But I'm pleased to say that in the new place here, I'd been somewhat worried because I knew we were heading into this period, and I'll get into how I knew in just a minute. And so I had a bunch of trees taken down. They were overgrown commercial trees. I hate this. It's just really an annoyance, so bear with me here on a little sort of a rant. All of the fir trees, or most of the fir trees around in western Washington, that you see, these 200 and 300 foot high guys, 100 to 300 maximum usually. They hover around 240. They're a commercial tree. They're a hybrid of a Norwegian fir and a native fir, and they're a soft wood, okay? Not like the native trees here in Washington State before the loggers came. Those were really dense wood. You could make a boat out of it, and the wood would not rot for 100 years in the ocean because of the density of the grain. Now they're a softwood made for pulp, which is to say newsprint, paper, cardboard, and also to peel for plywood and then to cut for dimensional lumber, the soft 2x4s. Anyway, and so the roots grow on these hybrids up till the tree is about a foot across in the butt. Thereafter, the roots don't keep up with the tree growth, and you get these trees that are, and so at about a foot across the butt, the tree can be about 100 feet high. More or less. And once it starts growing beyond that, the root mass just stays that size. It's almost fixed. So the tree can go to 200 feet high, and the root mass is only prepared to support a 100-foot high tree. I've had these things come down. So I had these trees taken down because I knew these storms were coming. Now, and I'm quite pleased about that. We got it done just in time, and literally there's still some logging equipment on the property, and a few of the trees that are down are ready to be taken off to the mill. The cleanup work, basically. And here we are with the storm last night. I don't know that we would have lost any, but I do know that my driveway is now covered with debris from the neighbor's trees. At least my house is safe, though. No tree can fall and damage it, but I'm expecting a lot of that. Why am I expecting that? Well, we have this. We have an alignment and a convergence. The alignment is of planetary nature. The convergence is of a energetic nature. So the alignment is a big one, okay? Insofar as I've been able to find, I can't find that it's ever occurred before, and I know the alignment of the planets this way, I'm sure, has occurred before, but within these particular circumstances, where we are in space with and where we are in time in terms of the Kali Yuga, right, where we are around the galaxy. The alignment is going to take a long time, and so it's not like a particular day, but it is there will be a day when it all happens. And this is a weird alignment in that it is, or strange, exceptional, in that it is Jupiter, Earth, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all aligned, pointing at galactic center. So, okay, and so that I'm sure is going to cause some energetic forces on its own, just at that level. Now, there's also this convergence of forces. So there's this descriptor, this thing out there. They call it the interstellar gas cloud. Sometimes you'll also see it as, I think it was called the interstellar gas lens, okay, because of the effects that it has. Anyway, This gas cloud is gas in space, helium primarily, and hydrogen at a higher density than in other areas of space. So we wouldn't even notice if we could be in space, you wouldn't even notice it. It's so thin. But nonetheless, over space, it's a very large difference. And it's a cone. And Earth is going through that cone. And it is a cone because of the spiraling aspect of our galaxy and the other galaxies around us, and the residual effect that spiral has on all energies that are leaving it, right? So nothing comes out of our galaxy in a straight line at a natural level. Everything will always come out as an aspect of a large arc. The only thing that run in straight lines are the space aliens, UFOs, that kind of thing, right? Anyway, so over the course of these next few months, we're going to go through this interstellar gas cloud or cone. It will exit the cone at the very end of January. I'm expecting a very harsh winter here in the Northwest as a result of this, not simply because of our movement through the interstellar gas cone, but rather because of how that cone affects our weather and what goes on within that cone. Because the density layers of the gases within the cone are not evenly spread out, right? There's currents and eddies and shifts and stuff. And it just so happens that when we go through so we sort of because of our orbit, we sort of pop into the one part of the cone and then exit it, and then we continue more with our orbit and come back around and then pop into it again, kind of a deal, right? And we're into the cone for 2 months, December and January. This is why I wanted those trees down. They had to come down anyway. They should have been harvested 15, 20 years ago. They were like 3 feet across on the butt, and they were going to come down. A lot of them were rotten also. Sorry about that. That kind of shit just irritates me. Anyway, so the gas cone that we're going through at this point, we're now on the side of the cone with the densest of the current flows, and we're almost, and when we next come into it here, I think on the 18th or 17th or 18th, we're in the cone now, right? We're in there until the end of January, but on the 18th or so, I believe it's the 18th, we will be at the peak of our exposure to the densest part of the densest current within the cone that will be going through this passage. And then that will take, and so that'll be the densest part, and then it'll take us until sometime in January to come out of that current and exit the cone again a few days later. So we'll come out of the current, it'll be a ratcheting down of the effect, and then a few days later that effect will leave us. This effect will certainly, and always has, been shown to have correlations to our weather. And so I'm expecting some, rather fierce winters, right? Winter stuff this year, as I've been saying, right, for a few months now. Anyway, so the alignment is going to cause, it also can be thought of as a force as well, with Jupiter as the anchor or the lens back to galactic center, whichever way you want to think about it. So I'm expecting that the alignment process over these next months will also produce a number of energetic effects that will be as part of the convergence that we're going through. In addition to that, it's going to be astro up the yin-yang on this thing because of the alignment. Everybody's going to be getting all whipped up and stuff. And you'll have these transits where the planets, interfere with each other's energy, and they affect you. You'll feel it. It'll alter your life a bit. All right, so there's other forces that are converging at this point, larger forces, galactic or universal, however you want to think about it. And these are also manifesting, right? Such as the appearance of Three-Eye Atlas, undeniable space aliens, at the same time that within humanity we get to, or at least within the USA, we get to this point of, so far, maximum focus on UFOs and our officialdom, right? And then now also we have the appearance of the first accepted peer-reviewed paper for a journal about the idea of consciousness as a substrate, basically, undoing gritology in one fell swoop, changing the paradigm that way. And this is basically what I wanted to talk about today, was the process we're in now and what's going on. So we're in a paradigm shift, okay? The last time humanity went through, humanity has paradigm shifts all the time, like the rise of the Mongolian Empire brought in different kinds of mathematics and stuff to people, all of these different sorts of things. The paradigm shifts, though, have not been ubiquitous to humanity. They've always, so far, up until this modern age with modern communications, they've been reasonably isolated. So, they affect part of the planet, not other parts. We're now coming into global paradigm shifts that take a while to work through all of humanity. One of them that's emerging now, or one of the paradigm that we're shifting out of now, is the materialism, where materialism rules everything, grit rules everything. Now we're coming into this idea of the ontology of consciousness as the basic substrate, and the grit world simply being a perceptual illusion that has some really cool aspects of it. As science now understands that we're getting into this and start talking about it, then that will provide more and more validation for the concept of co-creation, where your subconscious, your perception, participates in creating the general common shared reality. That's why I call it that, common shared reality. It's because it's the common parts of the delusion that we all share, right? Anyway, and so this then means, by extension, that because the substrate of reality is consciousness, because you're an isolated part of consciousness, because you share your subconscious, as they call it, with the greater consciousness, you're able to aid in the co-creation of the illusion itself through your subconscious. Ergo, it logically follows that if you were to apply conscious thought to it, you could alter your subconscious such that you were able to consciously participate in that co-creation to your benefit. That's what we call manifesting. And just to get another bitch out there, no, manifesting is not magic, right? I'm not going to do a video where I manifest, an ostrich in my gym building, anything like that. That's not manifestation, all right? That's illusion. That's delusion. Manifestation is where your conscious mind instructs your subconscious to put an image in. It holds an image, and it instructs your subconscious mind to put a feeling into your body that causes a resonance with that image out in the greater consciousness that responds to your subconsciousness, and that greater consciousness alters the creation of reality to suit the image that you're putting out there. This is easily seen and is quite factual when you understand that reality is that there is no solidity. There's no there, that the atoms are an illusion. And so, so are you, actually. And so all of your problems are, and so on. And you can put your mind to correcting all of these. This is what manifestation process is. And you put the energy into the to the desired image in an appropriate way by creating energy within your body, usually involving the vagus nervous system, so you get a feeling, a resonance for it, and you put that in there, and then if you're perceptive enough, you'll get a feedback from universe through your body that the thing is done. And then you give it up. You just stop putting out the energy because there's no point. Universe has got it's got your order. There's no point to bitching about it that you don't have the fries yet, right? So you just wait for the fries to arrive. And so that's basically the process there. It has many complexities. Each of these aspects are are simple in themselves. You can't have internal conflicts to your manifestation, so you can't manifest somebody dead out of hatred, that kind of thing, right? And if you have a terrible feeling about yourself as a horrid person, you're never going to be able to manifest yourself as, in anything other than those feelings that are expressed, because universe is reflecting that back to you continuously. Once you tumble to this idea, you start changing your thought patterns, start doing anything you can to control that wild-ass mind that keeps throwing words at you, and then things change because you have done that. And that's what they call doing the inner work, right? That may, for some people, that may be meditation. For other people, it may be physical exercise because they're able to dampen down the linguistic center of their brain when they're exercising. They get, quote, get into the zone. And then they're able to project that feeling out into the universe, and it resonates and provides back what they want. Universe is cooperative that way. It will indeed cause people to come into your life. So you can use manifestation to cause to fill needs in your life at that level, at a social level as well as physical, right? You can also use manifestation to correct body ails, as I am doing. So I'm having to rebuild from cancer. I've got into the manifestation in a serious way these last 8 years. I've explored it at a great depth, and I know a lot more about it now than I did then. And again, it's not fucking magic, okay? It's a skill. Because it's a skill, and because that skill requires aspects of your body and mind to be harmonious and acting in concert, some people are going to be very much better at it than others. This accounts for, so we have a wide range of skills. At the very end, wide range of skills is people like Jesus, right? That go out and manifest wine and stuff. There have been lots of people through history that have demonstrated such manifestation, and they usually build shrines to these guys. India, all over Asia, this kind of thing, right? It's happened frequently. There's been an association of these kinds of manifestations with what used to be called the Magi, who came out of Persia, out of what we now call Iran, which has a long history of this particular kind of work. And that's why we went to the languages of Sanskrit and Avestan that were used way the hell back in the day in Persia. Anyway, so here's the idea about this other aspect of it, okay? So there's a big convergence of forces going on now. This convergence of forces is going to affect us not only in our weather, but it's going to basically affect the storms that are going through humanity. These, so right at the moment, let me back up for a second, on top of the astrology transits and alignment coming up, which is going to affect everybody and really throw, it's going to give Heidi a lot of work as an astrologer, because everybody's transits are going to be, driving them crazy, right? Because of this once in, who knows how long alignment. And this also, by the way, I think participates in the delineation of the yugas, but I won't go into that now. Okay, so in addition to all of that, we have, at an astro level, we have 3i Atlas, and we have a whole flurry of solar storms. The solar storms I expected usually come at the end of our transit through the gas cone. So I wasn't really expecting a lot of solar storming until, say, the last 2/3 of January. That we're getting into it in, October, November, and December at this level of intensity, I'm putting down to 3i Atlas's presence. That amount of mass, if Avi Loeb is correct, 33 billion tons, and the amount of energy it's using that is apparently generating on its own, and its weird magnetic effects, et cetera, I think are participating. Also, we now have reports coming in from a lot of different astronomers that have cameras here on Earth that are saying, well, geez, guys, 3i Atlas appears to have activity around it. Like maybe lots of little ships buzzing around, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that will be clarified in these next few days, but I doubt it. Really, the way that the information stream is so controlled. Anyway, so we're in a paradigm collapse, which is the old materialism, at the same time that there's all these planetary alignments and other energetic force changes in our actual physical universe, as much as it is physical. And those forces, in my opinion, can be expected to rain down on us. That's why, for instance, I had those trees taken down, and I'm doing all this stuff to prepare for a harsher winter here than may be usual, and also perhaps longer, because of all of these forces coming in. I expect the Northern Hemisphere's winter pattern to be exceptional all the way around this year. Okay, so the energetic convergence, the convergence of energies, is going to be felt and expressed in humanity as well as in our weather and crap, right? And so we have all of the giant upheaval at a political level going on. This is not accidental. It's not spontaneous or any of that. It's all, even though it's planned, the evil ones, the, mass migration buttheads, all of those kind of guys, they're simply responding to the greater forces in the universe, which had us basically planned to go through this stuff now, right? Because it's part of the paradigm collapse. Because you have all these energetic forces at the same time emerging, and then you get like the scientific paradigm and the political paradigm that we're now in, emerging out of the late 1600s chaos into, quote, the age of enlightenment as things sort of settled down. We're in the chaos period now, and in that chaos period now, the scientific paradigm as was laid on us, which is a control system, laid on us in the late 1600s is failing. It's failing because it's grit-based, materialism-based, and the reality is not based on materialism. And we now have a new prompt, which is the presence of an undeniable space alien object that's so fucking huge that they're giving, daily reports on its activities to all of officialdom that needs to know, that kind of thing. All of that is occurring and causing... and as an aspect of expressing the convergence of forces. So we will express these. Basically, we are part of the process the universe is going through now, and our part of that process of these convergence of energies is going to be, through humanity, is going to be the expression of this new scientific paradigm. In my opinion, it'll take consciousness as the base of all, and then start applying reductionism, right, as opposed to reducing everything to grit and trying to build back up to consciousness. Anyway, and so as a result of that, we're going to get into things like the manifestation process. We're going to get entirely new philosophical approaches to things, and as a side effect, religion's going to die. Okay, all of the religions that are based on Judaism that have anything to do with the Old Testament are just going to fade away. The reason they're going to fade away is because we're going to get a much more realistic appraisal of our reality, and we'll have officialdom saying we are not alone. Three-Eye Atlas and all these fucking UFOs and stuff, maybe another species living in our ocean. And they'll say we're not alone, and this will instantly remove the whole idea of Yahweh and the other 600 Elohim being gods, right? They were just space aliens that were here, and so that removes all the cachet. Jews can't say they were chosen by God anymore. All they can say is that they were chosen by these Elohim fuckers, and it's like, yeah, okay, so you were abused by space aliens, too bad. Anyway. And also the Ashkenazi are not Jews. Anyway, so as part of our paradigm, we're going to go through this AI collapse of some levels of former human activity, okay? It's not going to remove all creative jobs. It will affect some. Lots of humans are not that creative this way. It's going to force other humans to become much more creative because they'll start investigating consciousness, their minds, the use therein, et cetera, and it'll all be buoyed up by the other convergence of forces going through humanity as part of the paradigm shift. So it's going to be quite chaotic for a number of years. This is that part of the Kali, or of the exit of the Kali Yuga into the Dwapara Yuga, where we get into this chaos, right? There was, it's the rebuilding period, though. Okay, so there's a 300-year overhang from the Kali Yuga as we shed that mindset. And then that brings us up to our current period of time. Then there's a 75-year period when we have the first 25 years that were destruction. We've been through those. And now we're into the middle 25 years where the destruction is being, we see erupting out of the destruction. We see the emergence of the new order. And then there will be the next 25 years in which that new order, that new paradigm, that new world is solidified. And so... and then really takes off, okay? And then we're into the Bronze Age, and it's, in a serious way, and it's, happy, skippy times, let's get moving, all of this kind of thing, barbecue, pizza ovens outside, and happy times for all. So we're in the 25 years that will be seen as chaotic, but really it's the emergence of the new understanding, the new paradigm. It's a falling away of the old world order, the emergence of the new paradigm that cuts them off at the knees at a huge level. So, for instance, you won't need banking as much, even in the AI world, so banks are going to fail, but also you're going to use less reliant on them because you'll be using manifestation techniques to control abundance in your life in an era where there will be forces trying or working to provide sustainable material abundance to all. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot of work for people at a technical level and at a social level as well, because there's all kinds of social ills to correct and to cure. Some of these will be now segueing into this last little part here. Then I'm going to go get some stuff done. Okay, so some of the social ills will be directly affected by our new paradigm understanding. That is to say, we'll start doing things, in my opinion, as a more smart species, such as showing people in our officialdom schooling all about manifestation, how it works, the paradigm, the consciousness, the whole thing, how your thought goes out there, training classes, blah, blah, blah. That alone is going to alter their entire understanding of the reality and provide a level of a level of a pressure valve release. You'll also have to have people that will counsel those guys that can't do it very well. It's a skill. It takes time to learn. One of the things you have to learn is to quiet the linguistic center of your mind and get it under control. So we'll have a big boom in effective meditation techniques classes, right? So people will go and take Zen, for instance, go to Zen dojos and meditate that particular way in order to be able to release it all. They'll also do things like Vipassana, the householder's meditation, where a thought arises and you take your broom and sweep it away once you recognize the thought has arisen. And you keep doing this, and then by the end of the day, you find out that you're just not using your broom that much. Anyway, and that really aids in the manifestation process. So manifestation will basically be used among the masses, discussed this way in 3 different categories. Obviously your level of abundance, your personal material needs, and then relationship needs, and then health needs. Relationship is its own kettle of fish and needs its own area of discussion. But right at the moment, what I'm going to talk about is the health aspect, because this goes to the idea of also aiding all of the people that are now suffering from the old paradigm, and need this new paradigm and a new understanding to reclaim their bodies and so on. You'll see people out there, by the way, on X and on the media that say, keep on keeping on. Well, not these words, but they'll say, keep on keeping on. Endeavor to live to be age 90, because by the time you get to 90, assuming you're their age in their middle 50s, will have the capability of extending that life to 300. And it may well be the case, right? You may be able to live to be 300. In any event, you're going to need to have control over your mind so it doesn't go to jelly over that period of time. You're going to need to get your body fit, stop eating all that horse shit that pollutes it. Here's the understanding you need to get about this. The reason that they feed you all of that crap is to pollute your antenna. Your antenna is your nervous system. Go and look it up. I'm not going to get into it too much, but the master nerve there is the 10th nerve, the X nerve. I wonder why X is called X, the social media, or space X. Anyway, the 10th nerve is the manifestation nerve, the vagus nerve system. These things are huge if you stretch them out. They're giant bioelectrical antennas, okay, receiving and projecting. So they're you have the ability to focus with your nervous system as well as to receive information from reality. And this is why they want to pollute it. And that's why they give you all the crap food and they pollute your mind and all of this kind of stuff, and then also trying to control you through propaganda to keep your mind always in a negative bent, so that if you do have energy in your body, you're going to send it negative energy and corrupt your body and corrupt your mind and corrupt your outlook on life. And thus it'll ripple out and cause reality to be as twisted as you actually think it is. And they benefit, okay? So that's what it is. It's a big scam to harvest you at an energetic level, to harvest your consciousness energy, which is the ultimate source of all, because all you are is a little bit of consciousness that has tricked itself into thinking that it's separate and that all of this reality exists. And we're all tricking ourselves. We're all in the same common shared reality. So if you get your body together and get it healthy, you suddenly start finding that, oh, look, my manifestation becomes a lot easier. Well, that's because your antenna is not polluted with all this crap, these chemicals and stuff. And so you can do that. You can also use manifestation to affect your body, but you have to understand how this stuff works. It's not magic, right? So you can't put in imagining and then get energetic behind it and cure a broken bone. You can, but it's probably going to be a lot easier to deal with the material reality of the broken bone and put a fucking cast on it, right? A lot less painful and so on, and you'll participate in the process a lot less that way. And also, once the cast is on and so forth, that focuses your energy and your attention, and you can do things to cause it to heal very rapidly and very well. In any event, though, so the idea is that we live in this eternal now, and we live as a result of this, we exist as a result of this thing that we all call the event stream. Buddha called it that. Jesus referred to it as a stream. And what it is the perception of the manifestation of reality that occurs 22 trillion times a second at the subconscious level. And so that's a vibrational frequency, so to speak, right? And this event stream causes your consciousness to perceive itself within the physical body. This vibration and the way in which the event stream is constructed. The event stream is creating your reality so fast you're not aware of that. Your conscious mind is not aware of that creation. And in fact, it participates in decoding that illusion. Now, here's the idea. Your physical body is actually the last part of the process. The physical reality in which we live, everything, is the last part of the event stream process. Everything that's physical is already fading into what the scientists laughingly call entropy. All right, it's already fading into degradation. There is no entropy, by the way. It's a stupid concept that only exists in materialism. The universe doesn't work that way. So the event stream can be conceived of as being in a giant bubble. This giant bubble is the eternal now. You'll exist in this eternal now. You're never going to be in any other time. Time exists only as a result of your mind perceiving the duration of you existing within the eternal now. And so there's no time travel forward or back. That's an illusion, or that's a personal deception within the illusion that we all exist in. But here's the thing. This actually offers us some level of benefit. All right, if you understand how to work within the eternal now, which is what all of the manifestation and the perception classes will all be about. If you understand that, and you see it happening at a natural level with athletes and these kind of people, they recognize at some level that their body is fading into non-existent. It's the last part of the process. So they use their minds to put images out there of what they want their body to look like, and they're always refining those images and putting out energy within their body to back up those images. And so this is the way of the mind of the athlete, right? Whatever the athletic attraction, whatever the action or operation, doesn't matter if it's sport or dance or whatever. If you work with your body at that level, that's what you're doing. You always want your body to be able to do the particular dance move or martial arts move with a level of precision that you didn't see the last time you did it, right? And so they're operating slightly ahead of the last part of the manifestation process, which is their physical body in this reality as the atoms are sloughing off and fading into the perception delusion, right? And that's really, if you look at it, that's what happens. If you were to just not do anything and take your mind away from your body, it would degrade very rapidly, go down to nothing. Your body is held together by your mind, as we see with those people that become mentally damaged by physical acts, and how rapidly their bodies degrade. It's because their mind is not there to participate in keeping it together, so to speak, right? Okay, so that being said, as do athletes, they recognize that there's a mental participation in the current state of your body at this moment, and that your body is a sensor of the reality that your mind is creating, and then that sensor is letting that image go. It's sort of like taking a snapshot of your body the way you want it in that particular action, and then that lets that image go, and it gets ready for the next one. This is a continuous process. This is like the larger process of the paradigm shift. It's something you must go through, and you go through this continuously as long as you have a body. It's a lot of work. That's why you get tired, right? I mean, there's a lot of activity going on having these damn bodies. So if you wanted health and you wanted to apply manifestation to health, this is the way that you should go about it. First off, you go read my book, Eyes to See, on Substack, or you can get it on Kindle or buy it off Amazon if you wanted a hard copy. But you read that, and what you're reading are the sayings, 114 sayings of Jesus about the manifestation process. And you'll note in there analogs to what I'm about to say now, right? And that is that the body is a fading vehicle enclosed in the illusion that is generated by your soul, such that your consciousness thinks it's separate from everything else. But your consciousness can affect the illusion, can affect its own perception. And basically, if you start perceiving your body in a different way, it starts manifesting in a different way. And so here you are, you're sitting there, you're about ready to bite a potato chip, and you hear all of this, and you decide, okay, I'm going to try this horse shit. I don't want to be, a 300-pound blubberbutt. And so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to, not be a 300-pound blubberbutt. And so I'm going to take this attitude. So, a result of that will be the physical manifestation of you putting down the potato chip and not eating on it, right? And then you're going to get into all of the mental problems of your food addiction or whatever. But here's the thing. The moment you start thinking about the process this way, and you see that your eating the potato chip is a final act, it is a symptom, not the beginning of a process, but really the end of one, which is the manifestation of your feelings about yourself, much more than it is the manifestation of your body's desire, which doesn't exist, for the salt and the oil and the addictive chemicals of the potato chip. So you see that, oh, look, yeah, my body thinks it's addicted to this stuff. It thinks it wants the salt, it thinks wants to hold the water in the skin and make me all tight and firm and stuff. But that's not really what's going on. What's really going on is that this is the terminus of a process within the eternal now, which is actually kind of deep, so to speak, to provide an analogy to it. And thus, there are many parts of the process that lead to my mind manifesting the vibration that then causes reality to make my body this way. And that, hey, I can actually do things that are a lot easier than going on out and doing 99,000 reps to try and get rid of my lard ass, right? I can do things much more strategically with my mind to get rid of my lard ass. And that ultimately, all of this is mental control because you live in a perceptual delusion. Once you recognize that, you realize that, oh, I'm in this delusion because I was unaware of it. Once I'm aware of it, I can control my perception and its participation in the delusion. I need not participate at the level that I've been hoodwinked into doing all of these years. And everything starts changing. And what you're actually doing at one level is shifting your perception from the end of the process further out into the event stream. Further out into the eternal now, so to speak, right? Because it has depth, so to speak. You can get out and interact with it in various points of the manifestation process, and it gets really complex. We'll get into all of this kind of stuff. I'm certain that we'll have reductionist thinking and analyze the absolute fuck out of it. But basically, I'm going to wrap up now. We got bad weather for a couple of months, harsh winter, watch out for that. Wouldn't surprise me to have all kinds of electromagnetic problems because of the solar storms, which appear to be shifting way far forward in this process. The alignment is going to be up over this next new year, this strange convergence alignment. And we're in the midst of the paradigm shift that's going to totally upend our social order for the good. But the chaos is going to be rather spectacular to watch. So guys, take care. Decide where in the event stream you want to put your attention, and then watch what happens when you do. One last thing. Let's not send me request for Heidi to do astro for you. It doesn't work that way. So she's far too busy for that kind of crap. So anyway,